So when I first left this place, I was 18 years old and I moved to Milan. And from Milan, then I traveled to Canada, US, China, 2 years. Then I went back to Milan and started to work for the spirit industry. And from Milan, I was moved to a bigger market that was the Spanish market, because they drink like motherfuckers. So it was a really big, let's say, affiliate. And in Spain, I spent 10 years of my life, and is where I found myself, and therefore the love of my life, which is Judith, and is also where Lila was born. When I first moved to Milan, which is, sort of the capital, economical or aspirational city in Italy, I never felt really comfortable. I can't say why, but I never felt at home. It was like maybe very fake, as very, very based on appearance, on money, on competition, on comparison between people. While when I moved to Spain, I felt like I was home. And that really dug into my heart, my soul. In fact, I had the middle-age crisis before turning 30 in Spain. And is where I sort of got rid of the character, the egoic character, and became more, connected to the greater being that we are in the universe, and with nature, with the people, and with myself, of course. Why? I think this is, after a few years, the logical also description of this is because if everybody is a tree of life in him or herself, so we have roots, we have branches and leaves, and then we made fruits according to the vitality of the whole tree. And for some reason, I discovered that my roots were somehow rotten. And the roots you get in the place you were born. So I sort of connected my story to the story of the collective being of Santeramo and south of Italy at large. So I discovered myself and also the story of the place I was living in, which I didn't know anything about. So when life brought us to move away from Spain and come to Santeramo, it was also a great discovery, not only about the story of the farm, which is connected, of course, to, yes?
But about this tree of life,
sì.
This visualization process, it's nice. What happened in Spain that connected to this tree of life? Of you and
so the thing is, just to make it short, because this is not, we can talk about it maybe in another time, in another session, but let's say that life put me in front of like a very stressful situation. So from that stress of the idea I had of myself and of my life, I had to completely get into a personal identity crisis to rejoin maybe my soul path, I would say. And so the thing was, I met with a person that really crumbled my mental principles. So in that moment, I saw him like an enemy, but he's been perhaps my greater master so far, because through him and to what I lived through him, I actually later found my soul for the first time. I could see it clearly, And so I could start the process of cleansing the roots and understanding myself in like deep down, you know. So for the first time, I started to do introspection, meditation, yoga, connection to nature. You know, for the first time I hug a tree, you know, and all the consequences that come from that. And so the idea that I made on my personal tree, I also, let's say, mirrored out to the collective wood, so the collection of trees that is the place I come from. So for the first time I interpreted why I was like that before, and why, for example, in this specific place there is this kind of mentality of very dense kind of emotional upbringing, because there is a lot of envy, there is a lot of competition, there is a lot of jealousy. So relationships here are not transparent, they are not clean, and you can see it starting from the very families. So, and
in Spain you find it different?
In Spain I found very, very much difference. And to make like maybe like a summary of it all, is a matter of balance of energies. So Italy and south of Italy especially is somehow lost because it doesn't know its actual history, and also it's very masculine driven. So it's let's say the feminine energy is not balanced as in for example in Spain, where the women are much more empowered, they're leveled up in decision making, in society life, and all this kind of stuff. And it was really interesting to see this duality and somehow interpret or make an inference on why this was happening. And so here we connect to the quite recent history of this part of the world, of the Mediterranean history. Because south of Italy, till the unification of Italy, was reign of Spain.
What is the unification?
So when the Italian peninsula became Italy, okay, that was in 1864. Before that, the southern part, from Naples down, it was reign of Spain. And till that point, till the unification of Italy, south of Italy was the most important place maybe in the world in terms of richness, of economical richness, cultural richness, because it was the core of the Mediterranean Sea. So it was the center of markets, the connection from west and east. It was the place where you had most of the development of industries, textile industry, naval industry, even the first banks and stock exchanges were made in Puglia, in Bari, in Trani. So it was a place very always very vibrant in every sense, because it was hosting people from everywhere for the reason I mentioned before. And I don't know. I imagine, I envision it as a very happy, peaceful, and beautiful place.
It's like the Belle Epoque of.
So yeah, somehow that has been very long Belle Epoque, because on these lands we had, before the Romans, we had the Greeks, we had Phoenicians, We had also in this part of the world, you have megalithic history. Megalithic means mega, big, lithic, lithos is stones. So you have Paleolithic history. We have traces of dinosaurs, of villages that come from Neolithic. We have caves. There is a lot of, there is a lot of souls that have been passing by. But going back to the most recent history and maybe the breakthrough, so the story that we need to tell without going to back, is that what I think is that when we lost our Spanishness, we lost the compass. We lost also the interior happiness. So we are living this period of time of very, distress, lack of identity, because we don't know the history of our grandparents. And this is for reasons of historical manipulation. So when they basically, Spain needed money to keep living, so they sold this part of their reign, the south of Italy, to the Savoyas. So these northern families, Milan, Turin, they sold us. Okay, so from that point on, the south of Italy.
Us, it means Puglia or South Italy?
No, south of Italy. So from Naples down, that was reign of Spain. It was called before reign of Naples, then reign of the two Sicilies. So all this part, including Sardinia, was sold to them. So this purchase meant an historical simulation where they did the unification of Italy. So people from the north with guns at the end of the 19th century, so 1864, my grandparents were alive. They came here, they killed people, and they simulated the conquer of this land with the purpose of unification. So they stole all the money, they stole all the industries, and they brought it north. And from that point on, since Italy was unified, south of Italy is being put in a place of, let's say, under the boot. And if you analyze from that historical moment to now, you can still see it, because it's a economical warfare. So we pay taxes, but all the money that are invested in the countries are invested in the north. So viability, industry, workspaces, whatever, it's all invested in the north. And we are full of garbage in the streets. We are full of, the streets are broken. There is no investments in school, in anything, art, culture, nothing. Secondly, it's a psychological warfare, because from that point on, they call us terroni.
What is terroni? Terroni
literally means people from the land, farmers. But in a
bad way.
In a bad way. Like poor people, educationally, mentally, So they have created this duality in the country, where there is also this fight against the rich and the smart, and the stupid and the poor. It's a sort of racism going on. Also, when a part of stealing of all the money and also the culture, if you want, they are still stealing the human resources, because all the best talents we have here, they go to north. considering that here there is no money, there is no work. So either you are an entrepreneur or you have to move away from here. So the best people, they leave. So we have a problem of natality, so people do not make kids here, and also of abandonment of the towns and of land, because this part of the south was always based on agriculture. So many farmlands, they have been abandoned because nobody can take care of it, and because and this is connected about also not knowing the recent history of Italy. Why? Because in the books that they feed us at school, they speak about the unification of Italy, not of the robbery of south of Italy.
Yeah, the history
is written by the winners.
It's written by the power people.
Exactly.
It's always.
In fact, the farmers that were defending these lands, they are called brigands. I don't know the name in English, but I think brigands. And this was the first form of mafia. So the mafia, the Italian mafia, comes out of the defense of the territory of the south, and these families that were joining together to protect what they have. And in fact, it was the protection of the Spanish crown, because it was the social and economic fabric they were living in, and they were perfect like this. Because again, it was a place very vibrant in culture, in agriculture, in industry, in everything. In commerce. So, as they have shadowed this part of history, people in Santeramo or in Cassano, in whatever town around, they don't know shit about the recent history. They don't know that their grandparents, they fought to defend these lands. They don't know. They know about the unification of Italy as a moment, as an historical moment to celebrate. We actually do celebrate the unification of Italy. So the brigands are bad people that were just going against this magical moment of unification. Also, there is an idiomatic explanation to this. Italy is always been super fragmented. Italian, we never spoke Italian. In fact, we speak dialect here. So Italian was installed just less than 200 years ago. And Italian is the language that was spoken in Florence, the language of Dante. So we absorbed, because we were taught in the books, Italian, but we speak dialect. So we have a completely different language that is actually connected to Spanish. So this as a further... So, of course, as we are living in this bubble of lie, we don't have an identity. We are not rooted in the soil we live in. So my personal tree had rotten roots, and other people's personal tree has the same problem. So we lost our Spanish vibes, so that I associate with peacefulness, friendship, family, connection to land, to nature, to your identity, so to your land. You don't care about the land. In fact, you throw garbage. You don't know about the history. You have nothing to defend. You have nothing to give to future generations. You just, you're like plankton. You live the life just, floating in...
when the climate fits for you.
Exactly, but you have no purpose. So you don't build anything. You just grasp, you rob, you take away from others. That's why you have this, you don't have a clean feminine energy. So there is no collaboration, there is no empathy, there is no development of all that is imaginary, so art, music. They've been all suppressed somehow. In this sense, this project acquires this importance to me, to us, which is bringing back the history of not only of San Teramo, but also of the south of Italy, and speak about this in a very modern language, which can be very critical to power, to establishment, because you can do it through food, through lifestyle, through social media, through cocktail making, through appearance, and of course through also the concept you bring here that can speak through what you do, let's say,
It's to tell the story of place and story of the people.
Exactly. So this fits perfectly the idea, I think, we have of bringing in Spain. So bringing in Spain is not only in terms of food, in terms of kitchen concept of sharing tapas, but especially in values of calling this place from masseria. Masseria is the name that they give to farms, to casa, that means house, home. So transform it into a place where we are the hosts and people are the guests in a very welcoming way. Not you come to the restaurant, I serve you the food, you pay, you leave. No, you stay with us, we share, we live together, we create experiences that can last. No, we create friendship, we create family. So this is a family business, very important. Family business is not a business. This is family doing something together. And in this, I don't include only Judith and Lila. I include my father, my mother. You haven't met them yet, but they are part of this very, very deeply. And also we include children, because also we have to reprogram children to move out from the city and come back to land, because they have to learn how to make an orchard, how to make their own vegetables, how to be sovereign, so to wash dishes, to set a fire, to maybe hunt food when they don't have, all these things that that are very human and we are losing through digital, through new ways of life that is very artificial. Okay.
It's so for the next generation will be connected to his roots and
yes,
know his history and feel connected to the place.
Absolutely, and defend something, have a purpose, have consciousness of who you are, have an identity. And so from that point on, when the roots are clean, then your tree of life can make beautiful fruits. The branches grow bigger, the leaves capture more light, and your fruits are amazingly good and abundant. So we pass, I think we can pass from this, sort of feeling subject to something or to somebody or to the system, to people, a collectivity, community that is empowered, that can draw its own future for their kids. You can produce your food, you can produce your energy, you can take care of your land, you can feel the importance of family, but not on family only about your siblings,
Not
of
about
larger
blood
family.
connection, yeah.
Exactly. And also, perhaps, tap again into a new kind of spirituality that has nothing to do with religion. And so, separation from, I'm Catholic, you're Muslim, spirituality as a process of soul mating, of, meeting, being together, and connecting to and feeling as our trees and animals, our brothers and sisters. Take care of them. Water is our sister. We need to collect water. All these.
The connection with not only with human is also about everything above humanity.
Yes, this super organism that we are. That includes the elements, that includes the cosmos, that includes the microcosm, insects, soil. Of course,
everything.
Technology. Yes, technology is an incredible tool that we can
use it.
We can use if we use consciously, because it's a tremendous weapon that they are using against us now.
Yeah. And we need to be smarter.
Yeah, we need to take the chance and say, hey, look what I have in my hands, but I need to be educated to use it. So I'm against taking the children away from the screens, from computers, from in artificial intelligence. No, but I'm against spoiling. I'm against overexposing. I'm against lack of regulation. I'm against of them using it again as a tool of separation, like money, like manipulated history. So this is a new tool they have to separate us, because I'm speaking with you in front of you, and you feel my energy. You see me gesticulating. I give you 90% of communication is non-verbal. So I'm transferring a lot of information to you just because we are together. And we cannot do this through a phone.
Through media.
We can only give a glimpse. And so starting from this, we try to sketch this menu that is very simple. That wants to, of course, to speak through cocktails, because we come from that world, and we think it's also a nice way of gastronomy, going through, the taste sense, not only through, food, but also drink. And then also it helps us out in terms of how to bring on the business, because again, we are no cooks, we are we're actually no farmers either. We're starting to learn this, but we have clarity of the path, so
you have the purpose.
Yeah, exactly. I have the purpose. So I know that through the purpose I have a path I can learn upon. I have no rush of learning. So for example, having you here, it's a blessing, because I have in my set of ideas, I want to do fermented drinks, and pluck, you show up. And also I know that I have to develop the digital identity, because it's a tool of communication, of getting people around, and also making them see who you are, and pluff, you're ready to make it. So, the path, and the nice thing is that the path is a community path. So, opening the doors of your house for people coming from other places and from other reasons, joining you, it's a magical opportunity that the global world gives us today.
Through the media. Through the media. Thanks to the media.
Absolutely. So, and you can have an impact on young people that are very messy, and they don't know not even how to dishwash.
I know, they don't know.
But they come here And you tell them and you show them, and they go away and they have something useful they can use.
Yeah, totally.
And the same thing, for people that bring different knowledge like the one you're bringing. I hope you can bring with yourself something at the end of the journey.
I came here to bring and take. Totally.
Exactly. To exchange.
For me, it's magical to see how you do whatever you do here.
Yes.
Because when you live in a city, although I have a sense of realization how it is, because I grew up like that when I was a really small child, and although I know about it and I see it from while to while when I go to vacation, to spend the time inside of something that's created and developing from its roots, it's totally different experience, and it's exciting.
Yes.
And it's exciting because you are passionate about it for you can't fake it.
Yes. No, I can't fake it. I can't lie about anything.
When someone is passionate about something, it's not something you can fake.
Yes, absolutely. It's true. So this is, I think, more or less.
I think that one of the main things that I got from the conversation is that your place will, through its different experiences, will help people connect to their goals, to their meaning of life, purposes.
Somehow, yeah.
In a way, yeah. It's not like outcome and income, but I think it's possible to do, because you progress in life. Like all our identity built through our experiences, or bad experiences, or good experiences. And when it's a good experience, a really good experience, and it can be from one meeting. So it's something that we embracing into our lives, and it can change us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's not strange to say that a place like that will help people find their goals.
Absolutely,
or
inspiration.
Make them in life.
Inspiration, or also a sense of. You see, for example, what we got from, I believe, from our Greek roots, is this incredible capacity of welcoming people. So people, you can bring them among the trash in San Teramo, and they feel like they are in the most magical place. Because we bring them inside the family to eat with us, to try things that we like. And this human treat, it's something that we are maybe losing in the modern world, because we live in the cities, in cement boxes, and we are always in a rush, in the routine that from 8 to 7 gets us to work for a company and to sacrifice anything else in the altar of money that we need to move on. So also it's an exercise of sustainability, because I think there is the chance to prove that you can do things without plastic, that you can make agriculture without fertilizers, herbicides, and so it's also an exercise about health.
It's what's called biodynamic agriculture?
Well, I never used the biodynamic techniques specifically, but I very much believe in the inner intelligence of nature. So we should just be gardeners, not invasive machines that dig the soil, that put products. No. And also we don't need to invest in quantity, but in quality. So you want product, you make products for yourself, not for a person that you... So if you make products for yourself, you want something nutritious, good, and that has a very high economic value because it's your work on it. You know how tough agriculture is. So if I make products for the bigger market that go on the shelf, I don't fucking care. I care about money. I don't care about spraying shit on the tomato so it stays beautiful after 10,000 kilometers and 5 days on the shelf. So if you make things for you, you know what good is. So you're not based on the appearance of the tomato. You know that the fruit on the tree has the insect. If it has the insect, it's good, it's not treated. If it doesn't have, there is a problem there. So we have to start doing things for our own beauty, health, mental also connection to things. And this also comes to animal. We massacre animals worldwide. If you have a cow, you can feed your family for a whole year. Various family with a cow. You have raised the cow. You have fed the cow. You have felt like a member of the family. Then when it's time for the cow to die, you will eat it. It returns back to nature. But it's different if you take a cow for business. The cow can live 45 years, but it has to live 12. It has to live in a cage. It has to get the siblings taken away. It has to be put antibiotics to make more milk. Mm-hmm. So this is bad energy that we are flowing constantly through in the world and through ourselves. We will never live in a safe place, in a place where there is no war. Because we are making war to our brothers. We don't recognize.
We make war to our food.
Sí, to ourselves. So you are starting from the very foundation of the tree of life, from the very roots, to make them rot. So we need to understand this. We need to understand that we cannot go to the supermarket and buy food that we don't know anything about. We have to buy local. We have to grow local. We have to, and then maybe if there is some, over production, we can send it away. But we cannot base everything on producing for getting paid more. We have to produce for us to make the best out of this. And I want to put my name on the tomato. So we can
come back to the same person and buy another tomato.
Yes, you can use the cryptocurrency technology to come to the spot in my land where I put the fucking tomato plant. So that is what this technology is about. It's not about making more money, making more quality. And when there is quality, you also make more money. Because you don't need to make a great quantity. You make less, but you make of great quality. So the price you pay, it's higher. And you want to pay higher because you know you have a tomato that is not a piece of water.
Or we can pay like normal prices as long people start buying from...
Absolutely.
From their friends around. Because I think no one wants to pay higher. The reason it's higher is because it's not enough.
In fact, the value is higher. But if you
value is higher,
speak in terms of financial cost, cash flows, the price is lower. Why? Because if with the technology I have now, a farmer doesn't have to pass by big distribution and lose margin. I can sell directly, even digitally, to people in my town, to people also in Italy or Spain,
in like small markets,
fairly close marketplaces, to not spoil the product, because otherwise you need to spray it with something to protect it. And of course, if I gained €1 on the tomato because I have to sell it to great distribution and then they make €3 to you, I can sell it €2 to you directly. So I make €2 instead of 1, which is the fucking double. And you pay €1 less.
Exactly.
Which is 1/3 less of what you paid.
So it's about, I think it's all over the world now like that. It's about educate the people.
It's about educated people, and it's about...
To educate people about this fact.
Yes.
Because the reason we arrived to this point is because people not enough understand the difference in the values and the difference in who gets the money and
absolutely
why it's so important to cut
and
this.
also they don't have, and here we go back to the system on top of us that was put on top of us and we do not control until we wake up and understand how it works. We don't have the skills to reshape it because first of all it can't be reshaped by one, it has to be reshaped by many. And secondly, the educational system is designed for you not to reshape it, but to stay under it. So
no, education is through places like this place.
Exactly.
This
so
is the education.
This becomes paramount. Not the, I mean, this yes,
this is
but also
an
example, exactly, a model, because you need to show the farmer that through collaboration, he doesn't need to go to great distribution, but we can sell it directly. He can sell directly. So my dream it's that supermarkets disappear again, as it was like 150 years ago.
I agree.
And we go back to markets, and we know, and also these markets are not only physical places, but they are places where you can make shipments to others. So there is so we have our own, let's say, trucks, and we bring our stuff to people who want. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sure.
So this is maybe it would be incredible.
I have one more question.
Yes.
About San Termo.
Sì.
Because you said something specific about San Termo.
Sì.
So maybe you want to a bit say a few words about
San Teramo. Okay. First
it's your hometown.
thing that is important to say. Yes, it's my hometown. But first thing that is important to know. Italy, starting from the Middle Age till today, has been going through an incredible cancel culture empowered by the Catholic Church. Okay? So Italy is the headquarters of Vatican City and of the, let's say, the manipulated form of Christianity, which is Catholicism. Fake Christianity to control the masses, basically. So starting from Middle Age on, basically all the culture that existed before and that was connected to nature and to land, alchemy, agriculture, spagyria, I don't know how it's called this in English. So this is the, let's say, alchemic, spiritual usage of medicinal plants. Witchery, if you want. Completely disappeared. So all the local pagan, local rural knowledge was burned out, and it was substituted by saints and demons. So San Teramo in Colle has a saint patron that is Saint Erasmus from Rotterdam, because apparently the story they tell is that this guy passed by here during his pilgrimage.
Who is he?
Saint Erasmus from Rotterdam.
Okay.
It's it's one of the
saints.
See, one of the saints. So Sant'Eramo, it's called like this because of Saint Erasmus. But if you actually dig into the etymology of the name, and you also know that saints appeared just 1,000 years ago, and before they probably didn't exist, or maybe they existed in flesh and bones, but not in the books. And you use the dialect to understand the name. Sant'Eramo means sacred place. Sacred hermit. Hermit means a high up place where people would do sacred, sacred practices. And in fact, if you look at the geomorphology of the place, Puglia, it's an esplanade. Okay, it's flat. Sant'Eramo, it reached 700 meters above the level of the sea. So it's a high up place. We know that the old establishments of people, villages, they were made on high up places because they could control who was coming, because there was more availability of water. So the oldest villages were made on peaks. What it means? That Sant'Eramo has a very, very, very old history that is basically unknown to the people of Sant'Eramo. So not only the recent history, also the one of brigands of the unification of Italy, but also the past one. In fact, the town of Sant'Eramo is very new. It's a middle-aged city. But all the masserias or the farmhouses are very old, older than that. So imagine that this farm I found on Spanish maps from 1100. And according to archaeologists, this place was a Neolithic village, a Roman villa. So it has gone through many transformation. So Sant'Eramo suffers very much of a lack of identity, because if you ask to a person of Sant'Eramo, what is the history of this place? Aria fuori, they don't know. There is no history. Nobody knows. No recent history, nor old history. It's like a place that was forgotten by God. It's very interesting. I find it amazing. A fantastic anthropological business case. Yeah. Anthropological case. And so I don't know if this is too ambitious, but I believe that starting from these rural compounds, you can also link back to this history. So make people know about themselves more. So going back to what you were saying, it can be a place of transformation if we are not superficial, in the sense that, okay, we serve food, okay, we give drinks. No,
you serve a story, and yes, in this story there is a food.
I use the food as a tool to tell a story, because I want people to ask me, okay, but why is this drink called like this? So when you see the drink list, you will obviously not understand. But there is drinks that speak about the stones, because this is a land of stones. You will see drinks that speak about the limestone, which is the building material of also the new houses. That is this very fragile but a very light material that you can see everywhere in Puglia and in the rural areas here, because it's a local material. You will see plants that are autochthonous. So you will see certain kind of oaks and also stuff that we have around here. You will also see an historical interpretation of certain drinks that speak about the Spanish rain, that speak about the Greek roots, that speak about the saint pilgrimage. That's why, as I was saying, I would like to build somehow an experiential journey. So it's not a menu, it's more a journal.
Journey.
A journal of a travel, a time travel somehow, that mixes very far away past, recent history, and also a look into the future. And also modern history, because there is, for example, a drink with secret ingredients that speaks about a very something that the system did in Italy to do land grabbing here in Puglia. They basically destroyed secular olive trees in certain part of Puglia, because that was the only way to buy the lands. And they've been using a technique similar to COVID, but a phytopathology that was attacking only olive trees.
Wow.
Yes. And of course there is a complete unconsciousness about this, because they think it was a virus coming from far away, or that was imported by a plant. No, it was a planned out thing to take away the lands from, because the south of Italy, especially Puglia, south of Italy is a very special case in the whole Europe, and probably in the whole world. It's a very annoying place for the system, because it can't really be controlled, for one reason, because there is an incredible fragmentation of land. So all the agricultural land, it's divided into very, 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 very small pieces that they are owned by people, different families, and what does it mean? That they cannot take it over. So people still cultivate their land, still have a point of freedom that in Europe you don't find anywhere else. In Europe and probably worldwide. Well, maybe you find it in South America, but not in well-developed countries, let's say. So this gives also they try to take it away. So they are making agriculture very hard for agriculturals to like me, to survive. So if you have animals, you have so much taxation and bureaucratic shit that you basically cannot have a farm. Or you leave the farm. Many farms are closing.
In Puglia?
Sì. In Puglia, in south of Italy, all south of Italy, because it's the only place where this happens. If you go north of Italy, there is big lands, big companies owning, and this is what the system wants.
Take everything to the north.
Apart from taking everything to the north, having big companies controlling, because for the system, it's very easy to go to one person that has a lot of land and say, hey, from today on, I give you money, you do this. But if you have hundreds, thousands of little farmers, how are you going to do this? It's impossible. So they find ways to take away the land. And also because they have to put solar panels, because they have to put aeolic things, and make money out of it, you know. So it's a very annoying place. And this is because, I think, it's a very important spot worldwide of consciousness. So in this specific place, if you see the map, the world map as a brain, the belly button is the fucking Mediterranean, and especially south of Italy. And it's always been the center, and it's always been very hard to control, and it's always been tried to be controlled, as it happens in some other places in the world that are annoying. We want to get rid of the people there because we want to control it, but they make resistance.
Yeah, because it's important for government.
Because you have the control of the sea, you have the control. So imagine Italy in general, for the position it has. It's a very important military area. Very important. We have Mossad also in Italy, apart from our
governmental agreements.
No, but the government agreement is basically something shallow in the sense that Italy, it's a colony of United States, which is, according to my point of view, connected by the balls also to Israel, which is connected to United States also in a military way. So Italy is a place to be controlled. Because if Italy, I also believe, maybe more in a spiritual way, that is a diapason. So we need to control this place, because if things happen here, they will happen in everywhere else in the world. So we need to control this part of the brain. So if you see the map as the brain, we have two hemispheres. Right and so right is the masculine part, left is the feminine part. If you go east, you can see that it's more feminine the way they are. While if you go west, we are more masculine, the American dream, no? with the poles. If you come to the center, Mediterranean, mid, you have also in the human brain, apart from the two hemispheres, you have certain organs, cerebral organs that are only in the middle, and they are not divided in two, they are one. Pineal gland, epiphysis, many of them. If I control that part of your brain, I can control both hemispheres. I can tell you what you have to do, and you follow what I tell you, because I control you.
It's like the third eye.
Absolutely. If you want, yes. So if the third eye is controlled, I control you, and the system will survive. If the third eye opens up, I know who I am, and you can't control me anymore, because I don't fear you. I don't fear
because
death.
You understand the system.
Yes, I see the system.
Yeah, you know how it works.
Exactly. I do not fight it.
No, you just.
I recognize it.
I think that this is the knowledge that means to people to understand what's happened behind.
Absolutely.
Behind
it's too complex to be understood with the logical brain.
You need to want to understand.
Yes,
and
you need to. Yes,
and many people don't want to.
Absolutely,
they prefer not
because they have fear inside.
So what happened if I really understand?
Exactly. No, you are fucked.
Yeah.
Because you are putting
because you need to manage it, then to manage your life with this knowledge.
Exactly. So you have to change completely your life. So you have to break some relationships. You have to change probably your job.
You can see it in the most clear way. You can see it through food, if you come back to food, because the vegetarian, the vegan people, they saw something. And the people that, for example, I really want to be maybe more vegan, and I have the knowledge.
Yes.
But it's really hard for me
Yes.
to do this step.
Yes.
So in the back of my mind, I can't control it. I, in a way, ignore the knowledge, and I think the food is the most clear mirror to this
Yes.
process, and
Certainly.
and maybe what these kind of places want to create is bring the good effect of the knowledge.
Sì, totally, absolutely. And it's also, look, I've been also
Like
vegetarian,
good effect,
vegan.
I mean like eat
Ground,
from the ground,
sì.
eat from what you raise.
Yes. Also, I've been vegetarian because I felt like the defense of the earth and the animals. But then I changed a bit my perspective. So I readapted to the food I had, so I eat everything. Even if my diet is mostly, fruit and vegetables, but if I have meat, I eat anything you give me. Because I enjoy life, I enjoy taste, I don't care about having blockages, I don't care. I don't fear death, I will die, and I will die happily.
But you will choose which kind of meat you will eat.
Absolutely. I can choose if I want to.
Yeah,
exactly. And also, if I want to eat chips, I want to eat shit, I can. I don't care. Maybe sometimes I want to, and I do it. Of course, it's not my daily life. I would never do that. But if sometimes I want, yes, I do. I don't care. But I was going back to animal. So I do not accept violence. I do not accept the system we are in, but I do accept the way my grandparents were doing.
Yeah.
Because they were raising them like their children, and then they were putting back to life, eating them. That is fantastic, I think, because there is no violence there. There is love. There is also, I kill you. I terminate you. When your life...
I can look in your eyes and
exactly,
do this, and
exactly.
This is the reason
I will hug you. While if I go to the supermarket and I'm used to, I don't even know where it comes from. I don't know that there has been violence there. There has been no hugs. There has been an industry that injures, that kills, the butchers the animals. So what you're eating is that energy.
It's the energy, of course. So
it's that energy.
Yeah, I agree that my choices today is based on energy. So I always.
And that is really Ayurvedic.
Yeah.
Also through Ayurveda, Ayurveda is just a.
It's a holistic medicine.
Yeah, but it's also viewpoint of very third eye-ish, let's say.
It's the connection of nature and human body.
Exactly, because it sees the human as part of an ecosystem, so it values the color of the plant. Okay, if the lavender is violet and it's making the violet in the flower part, that flower is in the light spectrum of violet. Okay, so everything is sound. Sound becomes matter through light. Light starts from red, finishes to violet. Starts from red, finishes to violet. So if I take the flower of lavender that is violet, I can work on this. So the active principles, which are the terpenes in this case, of the lavender flower, can help me work on this part of my color spectrum. So if my crown chakra is closed, I can help. I have to do various things, of course, but lavender can help me, because nature is telling me that this is in the same color spectrum of what I want to work on, is where I lack the color. And that you can apply to food. So you can actually change completely the way we eat based on color. So green color, I work on the heart. Red stuff, I work on the sexual part, on the creation. The yellow, I work on action. So it's incredible because you can. We don't understand that we have information in the very colors, and the colors of the food are, if you want to bring it from Ayurveda to phytotherapy, so to science today, and to spectrum of life, if you want to think about cosmic connections. The green are the terpenes. Terpenes are basically the carriers of color and also medicinal purpose of food. So I can make a diet based on colors that can help me align my spectrum of light. So if I'm stuck in red, I'm not a wholesome being. I'm not in line with the universe, with the ecosystem. If I'm stuck on, if the upper part is not connected to the down part, you will never be an holistic being. So you will never be a rainbow. The rainbow doesn't choose the color. The rainbow has all the colors. So this concept of sort of rainbow cuisine is also based on giving real importance to anything we eat, anything, because it has hidden information about who we are or how do the cosmos work, and expresses itself, through colors. Because why is it green? Is there why the flower opens up that way? Why the branches? It's an algorithm. It's a program that is installed, and it's not mathematical.
It's the DNA of the.
Yes. See, but that DNA then manifests in a certain way that is already programmed. So that program is not based on mathematics, is based on geometry and irrational numbers.
And biology.
And of course, biology is the way it comes out of into being. So you have the formula inside, into genetics if you want, and then the way it sprouts into biology. And we need to understand this. So this is not dead. This is alive. Mm-hmm. This is life. This is
why
me.
We have different.
Yes, this is myself. This is me.
Mm-hmm.
Can I stop?
Last sentence.
Bye.
A conclusion, or something you want to say, to wish, to create.
Last question, last sentence is, sometimes I ask myself, why did I come here to live in a world that does not resonate at all with me? And why there is so many other people that are in resonance with me and not with the system? Is it maybe because we are, which is what I want to believe, in a moment of time when we are actually changing things and making it happen? So maybe we are bringing in this information, this energy, for maybe the generations to come to see what we envision now?
For sure, we are part of history.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
We're making history.
Yeah. Now we can stop.